Hey guys, I am super excited to come to you guys and share this monumental moment. This is a moment. Oh, you didn't hear the angels start singing as soon as the camera went on. Guys, we are bringing you the first ever the leading voice chat, which is four female podcasters coming together to share the women's voice. You know, a lot of times in topics that are going on across the world, we hear a lot of the men's voice, but not necessarily the women's voice. So we're coming together as four different podcast hosts just to bring you this particular episode. And guys, I know that you've heard about these topics. I know that you've been talking about them. So we just want to shed some light on them and open up the opportunity for, you to have your voice heard as well. So I am first on the docket, Altovise Pelzer, host of the Speakeasy podcast, where we talk about the behind the scenes of being the successfully paid speaker and author. And right on over next is Miss Suzette. Let them know who you are, Suzette.
Hi, my name is Suzette Vearnon, and my podcast is Enough Factor. It's one where we're redefining what makes you enough on your own terms so that you can live life and experience love in a brand new way. How do we do this? We amplify your voice, your value, and your vision.
And then, of course, we have Miss Tandee Salter. How are you doing, Miss Tandee?
Me, I'm doing good. I am Tandee Salter. My podcast is The Tandee Salter Show, where we talk about our journey to entrepreneurship and share tips and inspiration for new entrepreneurs to show you that you too can be successful in your business.
And last but of course not least, we have Miss Dorothea Robinson. Hey, sis.
Hey, sis. Thank you so much for having me. My podcast, Strategic Exodus, where we talk about how women who are still stuck in domestic violence, intimate partner relationships, how they can journey out, how they can exit out. The podcast, we bring about discussion to have people who are victims of abuse, who are survivors, who are stuck, to understand that there is life after domestic violence.
Oh my goodness. So we have four different women from four different areas of the US. That part is really powerful. But not just that, but four different perspectives when it comes to the topics for today. So today's topics, we have four of them for you, not because there's four hosts, but simply because we found four topics to talk about. Ayesha Curry and the Red Table Talk interview that she did with Jada Pinkett Smith, and of course the Red Table Talk fam. Then we have the Facebook bans. And out of the whole group of Facebook bans, there's two that stand out the most that we're going to be talking about. Then we have to do, of course, an amazing shout out to Miss Gabrielle Union for launching the Kaavi James line, yes, at New York and Company. And then we could not come to you as the leading voice chat and not bring you the information concerning the new laws around abortion and miscarriage down in Georgia. I say down in Georgia for me, but you'll hear from Tandee, who's actually in Georgia. So it's down there for me, but it's right where she is. It's home for her. So with that being said, let's get started on this first topic and talking about Ayesha Curry and her bravery of talking about, first of all, them talking about anxiety, which we all as women know is very real, but not necessarily something that's been talked about in our families or talked about in our communities, and definitely not talked about when it comes to celebrities. And then this statement that she made. And so for those of you that do not know, she made a statement saying that, her husband gets a lot of female attention, which, can, from what she talked about, can sometimes border that whole disrespectful line. But she said, on her end, she doesn't really get that attention. She doesn't really get that same crowd of people, coming around. And the internet has been on fire talking about it. Men saying, oh, well, she should be thankful and all types of other stuff. Well, guys, we understand that you want to mansplain it, but now is not the time. It's time for the leading voices to come up. So ladies, what do you think about this whole Ayesha Curry interview? Well, it was the whole Curry Lady Clan interview on Red Table Talk.
Wow, I'll jump right in because I saw that. And first of all, I thought it was amazing to see all these women in the same family that were supporting one another, whether they were in it by blood or by marriage. I thought that was just absolutely wonderful to see that and to see them all successful in their own right. That was very, very good. I did watch it, and I've read the comments, I've seen them, and people have all had different ideas about it. Honestly, for me, having dealt with anxiety when I was younger, and still at times deal with it, panic attacks, things like that, I really I applaud her bravery for being honest, for being forthcoming, for being vulnerable. And I also think when you fall in love with somebody, at that time you really see all the good, because most of it is you're dating together, and you might have some ideas. They might tell you what life with them will be like. They may tell you, but it's another thing to experience it. And sometimes we think, oh, it'll be fine. We're in love. It'll be fine. I'm secure. Everything's right. Then it happens over and over and over. And it sounded like to me, this is becoming something that's regular. And I can understand feeling overwhelmed by people pushing past you to get to your husband. Women, I told somebody when they were saying something, I said, this is the thing. Women know women. Just like men know men, women know women. And how many of you have been around men that didn't see it, but you saw somebody was pushing up on them, or you saw somebody was flirting with them, or you saw that somebody was in their face for the wrong reasons, and the guy is like, duh. He didn't see a doggone thing. And you're thinking, what is wrong with you? Well, it wasn't that bad. No, haven't we seen that? And so I can only imagine how frustrating it is for her, for him being such a nice, laid-back guy, to miss all of that and people stepping on her toes, pushing past her to get to him. For what I'm saying, I think she was very brave to state her truth, whether I agree with it or not, because I'm not in her situation. So that's my 2 cents.
I applauded her as well. I thought she was vulnerable. She was genuine. She was honest. She came from a place of, this is me. These are the things that I'm dealing with. And she did it in the place where she was comfortable. Even though there were cameras, even though Jada was there and there were other people there, she was able to voice that amongst the matriarch and her sisters and sister-in-law. She felt comfortable. I'm glad that she did it. I came from a relationship where my ex, my abuser, very handsome, Ford modeling. That's how handsome this man was. I get where she says, I'm wondering about me. Well, for me, I had that experience of people getting to him and pushing me out. I sat in chairs and I watched all of the glory. I watched all of the modeling. I watched all of that attention. And you do begin to say, okay, well, what's wrong with me? I'm not getting that attention. So I understood exactly where she came from. Some of the comments about her being thirsty, for me, my opinion, I don't see that that's where she was coming from. She was being honest. And as she was talking, I had to sit and think, well, here she does have her own, she's a chef, has a great career outside of her husband. She's also a wife of a superstar. She has a family. And so sometimes in the midst of all of that, when you're busy doing busy things, you don't get attention. And although I'm quite sure her husband gives it to her, I'm quite sure that her husband is very, dutiful, and he makes sure that, he does the things that he needs to do for his wife. But there is a piece that you begin to wonder, okay, so what's wrong with me? I'm not getting the same type of attention. And not that that's a thirsty type of desire. It's just a natural desire. Women, let's talk, let's be honest. Even though we may have somebody for whom it is that we're not even thinking about it, but when you get comments, oh, you look lovely today. And not just from women, I'm talking about the opposite sex. Not that it makes you or breaks you, but it does give us, oh, okay, well, I'm looking straight today. Oh, okay, my hair is, fly. Okay, I'm doing well. It does help. Now, let's be honest. We may turn down some comments like, okay, did I give you permission to talk to me? Did I give you permission to look at me? But with the but with the honesty of, if you know that you're looking straight from head to toe, and you're feeling good and confident about yourself, you can't tell me an added comment from the opposite sex doesn't lift you up just a little bit. It does. That's just my 2 cents.
It's so true, though. A lot of times we get into that mindset that, I guess there's this behind the scenes talk about, oh, I don't need nobody to tell me how good I am, and I know I'm amazing, and I woke up like this. Well, no, boo, you didn't, because you had to put something on the head.
Yes.
You had to put something on the face. You didn't wake up like that. It's I understand. Now you can wake up with your self-confidence, but you still want to have somebody that says, oh my goodness, you're beautiful, you're amazing. And not necessarily them saying it because they want to sleep with you, but them acknowledging, hey, you put in some work and I see you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You want someone to recognize your hard work and what you've done for yourself, and not necessarily just oh, I want to sleep with you or I want to be with you. It's so that you get that extra confidence boost. Everyone loves a little boost of their confidence to go to the next level. And though you may already be confident, just hearing it from someone else makes a world of difference. And at the same time, on the other side of that, the introvert in me is like, I don't want that attention. Leave me alone. Let me stay in my corner. Let me have my peace.
Right? The inner introvert is like, stranger danger.
Thank you, but I'm going to go back over here.
But haven't y'all, maybe you can speak to this, but isn't there a point after you've had children, or you're getting older, after you've had children, you kind of have that thing like, God, do I still, you kind of, your body's changed and your energy levels changed, and sometimes you just feel like, whoa.
Listen, I had 6 kids, okay? I ain't gonna tell you how old I am, but you are so super on point. Listen, you deal with things within yourself about your own body image, because what used to go north is going south, and going west, east, south, west. All of that is spreading all around the world, and you're trying to, put it in and make it straight and all of that, and you're doing it not necessarily for, again, the compliments of somebody else. The self-image, how you feel about yourself. Whatever you do is what you do for you. However, it is nice. It is absolutely nice to get a compliment. It does lift and boost you just a little bit. So I get where, Ayesha, when she was talking about, I was right there. I totally understand about somebody getting all of the attention and you getting none. The opposite was for me. I was 416 pounds. And the question became, well, why are you with her? Pretty much like when the young lady opened up the car door and got in and sat and told Ayesha, you know what you signed up for, right? So I get that. I totally understood where she came from.
So the whole Philadelphia would have rose up out of me.
All of Philadelphia.
Every bit of 16th and Erie and 23rd and Jefferson that runs through my blood
Oh, sweet
Listen,
Jesus, sweet Jesus.
would have ran up out of me in that moment.
Ooh.
Because you're not going to roll up on me like that.
Mm-mm.
You're not going to do it. Listen, I have come a long way, y'all.
that was much.
But don't make me take a trip back.
That was much.
And people, they don't necessarily, like I said earlier, people don't necessarily know what they signed up for
No,
till they get there.
till you get there. And you know why? I'm gonna tell you why. And this goes across the board. It's because the women who are in that position are not willing to talk about it. They're not willing to be as bold as Ayesha was, saying, these things. And all the women talking about the anxiety, talking about what other women do. And most women in that position, they think I'm just supposed to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that whole mindset where you're taught what goes on in this house stays in this house. So you don't talk about what's happening at home or how you're feeling or what is going on within your relationship because you don't want to tell other people. And there's also the fear of being judged. Like I remember like working a job and I would sit in the car literally having panic and anxiety attacks, like literally shaking in tears, cannot get out the car to go in the building. And I was too afraid for a long time to tell people about it, too afraid to tell people that I have to take this medication every day, otherwise I can't go to work. And it was so stressful. And to hear other people talk about it, it's encouraging to know, okay, I'm not alone. There are other women who deal with anxiety. There are other women who deal with depression and have panic attacks. And I think that's where she was so brave in sharing her story and it's empowering other women to hear that because someone was probably getting ready to commit suicide because of those feelings. But now that they know that they're not alone, they live in another day.
Yeah,
As
and I'm
you
gonna
were
say,
talking,
well,
I was thinking about the rejection.
Mm.
How many women in those positions and positions like that are sitting and feeling already, as Ayesha was, I'm feeling anxiety, dealing with anxiety. And then I'm having these feelings like, what's wrong with me? And so I'm wondering about the rejection. If I said anything regarding how I feel, would I be rejected amongst many other of the women who are, basketball wives? Would I be welcome to be able to voice my opinion? That's why I was so super excited when she was brave enough to be able to sit in comfortability amongst her family, those who love her, to be able to say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. I just believe about the rejection. So if I say that I have these issues going on, am I going to be accepted? Is he going to accept what it is that I'm saying? And would the rest of the wives or the clique or the club, or would I be accepted and or rejected? So maybe, just maybe, it's better for me to be quiet.
and then I also know too that the day-to-day of being married is not sexy. Because people like, oh God, they see the house, they see the HD enhanced, they see her husband, and they see her stirring like the Black Martha Stewart, they see all that, and they think, wow, must be cool to be them. But y'all know, as much as I love my husband, he's the best thing since sliced bread with peanut butter and jelly on it. But day-to-day issues, family, children, cooking, what am I going to have tonight, dear? Dealing with the day-to-day ain't sexy. It really is not. And so I think it's great for her to speak up because probably, like you said, a lot of these basketball wives probably like, girl, thank you so much. Because it's not all that. Think about what it's like to be home and your husband is during playoff season and doing all these things, he's away. And you see him on TV and all the glitz and the glamour, and you wiping snotty noses and kissing boo-boos. And, for real, the everyday, or then when he comes home, He's not going to whisk you up and, oh, I missed you. Oh, baby, 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 baby. He's home.
Right?
And most men come home, smelly, put the feet up on the table, grab the remote. Baby, can you make me a sandwich? Ain't nothing sexy about that. So I can totally understand.
And don't let them have an injury or something, because now you got another one to take care of. Listen.
Hello,
That's just
please.
another child at that point.
Right. I'm just thinking of Shaq's toes up on a coffee table.
Oh God.
I'm
Can you
sorry.
see can you see the coffee table? Can you see it?
That gotta be a strong coffee table.
Dude.
Well, have you ever seen their bed? Their bed is like real huge and it's round.
Custom made though.
Custom made.
So I can only imagine the rest of the furniture.
Man.
Yeah, like a zip code to talk to each other.
Look, right.
Hello, honey.
It's so interesting. It takes us into that next piece that I want to discuss, right into, Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union was another person that went before the world and said, look, I'm dealing with this issue as a woman. I'm not the only one, but here I am as a celebrity dealing with it, and I want to open up the door for other people to understand more about this. Yes, I had a surrogate for my child. Yes, I did. This is why. This is what led up to this. And you immediately, you got backlash on one end and you got praise on the other end. And it's like, how do we do that? How do we split that in between? Why can't we just be excited that she's a brand new mom? And high five to her who just went ahead and put it out there that she launched the Kaavi James collection with New York and Company. Super excited about that. But look at how much joy she has. Can't we just be excited about the joy? But she went through that same thing of, because she's in the spotlight, people were like, oh, and she should have tried this and she should have tried that. And even listening to her husband, he said, if it was going to be the baby or her life, I'm going to choose her. I'm going to choose her.
That's like, so many people look at celebrities and put them on a pedestal, forgetting they're still human too. They still go through things. They still have personal lives. And even though you don't know what they're going through outside of the camera, behind the scenes, like what's happening when they turn the cameras off, what happens when they go home at night and it's just the two of them in the house. They're still human beings, no matter how much money they make, no matter how many TV shows and basketball games and movies you see them on, they're still humans.
It's when, what kind of like, I just thought was so super insensitive during a moment of joy, because here, her and her husband have sought for years, like this wasn't an overnight type of thing. They studied, they researched, she went through so many testings, and her husband said, that's it, you're not getting another shot, not one more shot, because you're about to risk your life. There are other ways that you and I, well, first they talked about the age difference. I don't know if you all caught the clip of the marriage, the wedding, and how they fist bumped each other and they had their own, I just loved it. And even in the moving of the baby. So the delivery of the baby, their baby, they did everything that that they should do. That skin to skin, when she was in just a regular hospital gown, her and her husband in bed enjoying the baby. The backlash that came, oh, look at her, she thinks she had the baby, and all kinds of mess.
Just let them celebrate.
You could not celebrate the actual birth, and why not have the baby on dad's chest? How many people in this world, that's what they do? Their husbands are in bed, bare-chested with the baby. You see it all over social media when they're clipping pictures So why could they not enjoy the very same thing just because they had the baby differently? People's mindsets, man. I'm not understanding. I'm not.
Honey, these social media streets, I'm telling you, you almost have to put on a whole, armor and stuff, like you're going to war. But I saw them in their interview with Oprah, and they were talking about all the things that they went through. And she even talked about people weighing in on the skin color of the baby. I mean, it was just, I'm like, really, y'all? Or whether it was really, how was it really them and everything. And from what I understand, it was his sperm and her egg, but it was implanted in someone else. So it truly is their baby. It truly is their baby, whether the baby is light, dark, pink or polka dot. It's their baby, right? And I agree with you. I marvel, and I'm using that loosely because it's really horrified, but I'll just say I marvel. I marvel at how people think that because they're anonymous or because they're on social media, they get to have an opinion about your life. I marvel at that. That just, I'm just like, really, y'all?
We kind of created these social media gangsters.
Exactly.
Social media gangbangers that they tapping away at the keys. Take that.
They take a moment that's supposed to be meant for joy and celebration and pervert it. And I'll tell you this, a lot of times if I'm going to say something controversial on my page, I will say, I definitely reserve the right to block and delete. Because it's my page.
Thank you. It is your page. Like, the social media gangsters remind me, like, when I worked in a call center, like, people would call us up and cuss us out and do all kinds of crazy stuff just because they couldn't see us face to face. And the social media reminds me of the same thing. It's like, instead of hiding behind the phone, they're hiding behind their keyboards. Well, maybe they are hiding from their phone because of the app, but it's like they're hiding and know that no one can, like, definitely get to them directly at that point. It's like, oh, I can say whatever I want because you can't see my face for real. You don't know where I live, but that still doesn't give you a reason or an excuse to belittle someone or to comment in on someone's life if you don't know the backstory, if you don't understand their struggles, and try to ruin a moment of celebration for them.
For real.
I was so happy to see their unity, their strength in one another, their love for each other was just poured out in that interview. And they already knew, I'm quite sure, they already knew going into sharing their moment with their fans and their followers that there was haters along, tagging along, grabbing on somebody's tail, get raised. They knew that. They knew that going in. And I'm quite sure that they had that discussion before. Okay, so we're going to get this, but here we are. Okay, they were a team unit. Yeah, I don't know. Do we need police on these internet streets? What? I don't know.
Look. Now you just said that and took us right into that next topic. Look. Because let's talk about it. Facebook, Instagram, and actually a ton of platforms have gone and started banning people. Now, I'm not going to talk about all of the people that have been banned, but there's two particular ones that I want to share with you guys, simply because I can't make this stuff up, y'all. It's like when you think about it, if you were going and reading this, you would be like, this sounds like a new hit Netflix show. That's what it sounds like. The Band. I think that's the name of the show. The Band.
Show. Watch. Keep watching. Somebody's gonna make it.
Two of the people that were on that recent Facebook and Instagram ban were Farrakhan and another young lady by the name of Loomer. Now, I had to look up who Loomer is. that's why I said I can't make this stuff up. She's an activist. Man, she does some pretty wild stuff, putting tents on people's lawns, and I'm just craziness. But it was interesting when I went and started looking it up and finding out the information, because you have two different people, but they handled it two different ways. And so Farrakhan connected with a pastor, and I can't get his last name to save my life, but his first name is Michael. Michael, I want to say it's Plager, and I don't think that's it. we just go, it's PL something. It's like a GH in there. It's a lot going on. But he is a well-known Catholic minister. And he opened up his doors to his church and allowed Farrakhan to come in and do a message there in the Catholic Church. So immediately, all eyes was open, right? Because we're like, wait a minute.
Ooh. Talk about a crossover.
Yeah, talk about a crossover. Wait a minute. There's a lot there going on.
Ooh.
He spoke to, you know, the relationship between African Americans and Caucasians. He spoke to the ban on their voice, you know, on social media. He spoke to a couple different topics, and certain people went and live streamed it on Facebook, which at this exact moment, I have not seen them get, you know, disbarred or deleted. So, but it was just interesting how you had two prominent people from two different walks come together to stand together against the Facebook ban and the Instagram ban. And then you have Laura Loomer. So Laura Loomer went to Facebook's headquarters and acted a fool. And I can't describe it in any other way or form. Like, she acted a fool. It was maybe like 15 minutes of just her ranting. Why? Police were called. She wasn't dragged out of there. We'll just do a leading voice pause on that one. She wasn't dragged out. She wasn't gripped up. She wasn't handcuffed. None of the above. She sat there and she tried to leave she already had a t-shirt that said Free Loomer.
So she was a visionary. She had vision.
Like, I was like, wait, didn't you just get banned like yesterday? How do you already have t-shirts?
She had vision.
Wait a minute. She wanted to leave Mark Zuckerberg a t-shirt. She wanted Mark Zuckerberg to come downstairs and talk to her personally. Like, she was like spazzing. She went in, and then they got another video of her. She's like crying about it, because this is the thing.
Wow.
Her being banned on Facebook and Instagram were not the first two platforms she was banned on. She's banned on Twitter. And please, anybody who knows, if you understand this second one, please put it in the chat, in the comments. Leave me a message. Let me know. She's banned on PayPal. That's another one of them leading voice pauses. How do you get banned on PayPal? Oh, well.
Okay.
You have to really be out there for them to.
I'm getting ready to say, what you do? What kind of stuff did you do?
So, and like I said, she's an activist. She does all types of stuff, but it was just like, wow. So we're in an interesting time, because with that whole thing between, you know, Mark being in front of the big wigs, right? But he was not the only platform leader that was in front of the bigwigs. Twitter was there. All of the other ones were there as well. They just weren't as publicized as Mark's, because Mark is what? An agent of change. He's the catalyst. And you come for the head, everybody else falls in line.
Right.
And so that's what it's been. You've seen everybody start to kind of fall in line when they see what's been going on. But I mean, she was ranting and raving. Like, she was like, Trump, you need to have him take off the ban. Trump? Now you talking to Trump? Wait, pause. So not only are you waiting for Mark to come down to talk to you, but now you can go talk to Trump personally and let him know that he needs to help lift the ban.
She needs a one-on-one session with the President of the United States because she got banned from Facebook and Instagram.
I said, oh.
Maybe she felt like he could. Maybe she felt like he could pull strings because he hasn't been banned on Twitter. Maybe she thinks that, you know. Did I go there? I'm sorry. No, I'm not.
I'm not commenting on that.
Sorry. I ain't even sorry.
Wait about this. So he again. So he's still on Twitter, but she had to do some stuff outside.
And she has. If you go and look her up, she's put tents and put up tents on people's lawns. I mean, like,
oh, yeah, that's
governors and stuff, like people. Like, first of all, how was you able to do that?
Yeah, that's kind of trespassing.
That's kind of, and that was the other thing.
That's kind of.
This kind of trespassing. That's kind of illegal.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And then when she was in this video and she's at Facebook headquarters, I'm sitting in the whole time that she's sitting there at least 5-10 minutes. She's talking to the police.
This is calm
and would not leave.
And they are calm. Like, I watched the police and they were like calm, just like, well, ma'am. They were calm and like patient, like they were waiting on her to make a decision to leave.
Then the guy that was with her recording, he's like, "Are you with her? Are you with her?" Because the same thing was for you.
What did he say? I'm doing my job, or
I'm just doing my job.
He said, I'm the PR agent.
He said, I'm just collecting a check.
I'm just here to
get my check. That's all I'm here for.
And she got escorted. She was able to walk off, mouthing off, and even like stop at the edge, still on property, filming and just ranting and raving. It was painful to watch.
Exactly. I was like, how was she able to be there that long? How way?
And still talk back. I don't get it.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about what would happen if other people did that, but
and immediately that's where I thought. But then, like I said, we have on the other side, Farrakhan was able to do his message at this Catholic church.
That's called finding a way.
It's like you look at it and you're like, okay, I don't know what she had going on. I don't know. Maybe she didn't have her coffee that morning.
No, she had too much coffee. She was drinking Red Bulls.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Dorothea. She had your Red Bull.
She had the Red
on
Bull
an empty stomach.
Yeah, right. So for me, if I'm mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the pastor invited Farrakhan.
Yes, he did.
Because his opinion was this. You know, I feel a certain way and I am inviting you here so that you can go this way. Now, I have not watched it, but just the invitation of it all, I thought that it was much more graceful.
Yeah.
It was creativity. We have both creativities on both either ends of the spectrum. Both of them were creative. One, I think it was more ranting. However, just the invitation of what it is that I know, the fact that he was invited, the fact that it happened, the fact that there was an invitation at all is amazing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying that sense of creativity. There was nobody dragged out from. Didn't hear any bad thing about people being pulled from
No negativity. I don't know I haven't checked to see how many people were there, but it looked like it was pretty crowded. It was pretty full.
Right. And it was well organized.
Mm-hmm.
It went forth without a hitch.
Yep.
Just two ends of spectrums on the same underneath of the umbrella of the band. So I just thought that was interesting.
I was like, those two stood out the most for me, and I haven't even looked up the other ones. I mean, I looked them up, but it didn't stand out the way those two stood out. Just in, looking at this week, and that's in a week's time, guys. Like I said, she was at the Facebook headquarters like within 24 hours where her shirt.
Yeah, and it was bright and early in the morning because I think the woman behind the counter, if I'm not mistaken, she was drinking some coffee, so it had to be in the morning. Like she had to be there when the doors open.
Yes, and then that was the other piece of it. Now that part really, I'm going to take it back old school. That part really burnt my biscuits. Because the woman that was at the counter repeatedly asked her to stop recording her. And she did not.
Nope, kept going.
So your message is more important than her saying that she did not want to be on your camera.
That's why she's banned, because she doesn't respect people's privacy and all kind of stuff.
Boundary.
Problem. So you already somebody that be jumping on people's lawns. I just feel like you're one of the kids that okay, this is where my mind I'm a unicorn. I think about all types of stuff. But in my mind, it just made me think of the kids, the teenagers doing a prank and all going swimming in like their trunks and bride underwear in the neighbor's pool. Like that's what it feels like.
Illegal. Breaking the rules just because you can.
And even with that, my biggest concern is we're at a time where, especially the Me Too movement and different things, where we're saying no means no, and respect and asking for consent is so very important in respecting people's boundaries. And you can't say, okay, we need this on one side, and I know the Me Too movement is not behind it, so please nobody throw cyber tomatoes at me.
All vegetables.
You leave all cyber and virtual vegetables off the screen. But I'm just saying, we have to. What did somebody said? Somebody said, please, what is it? It's about integrity. It's about integrity. It's about what you say and what you do lining up. And I think people need to really learn that if you say it's important, consent, important for people to respect my boundaries, that you got to do the same thing. Because there's another way to get your point across without having to put tents on somebody's yard. Because I would not react very well if she put a tent on my yard. No.
Come this way. Sure, she wouldn't react very well if people put a tent on her yard.
Exactly.
I'm quite sure that she can't put tents on yards in states like Georgia and Florida where we have laws that say stand your ground and you on my property.
Oh Lord, her tent will have a lot of holes.
I'm sorry, she was very ill because I know a lot of people here in Georgia and Florida and other states with stand your ground laws. A lot of these people are armed and dare you to come on their property. So I'm pretty sure she's not going to come to these types of states.
I'm quite sure she knows where she can and where she can't.
Exactly.
Yeah,
she knows where
Luna,
to go.
Don't go to Georgia, Miss Luna. Miss Luna, don't go to Georgia.
Don't come to Philly.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that to your life.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying. Because I know people where her tent will not survive. I'm sorry.
They will not. Even the cameraman. Even the camera.
Him too.
Step 1 foot in their yard and it's trouble.
It's
and
a
that's
problem.
it.
Wow.
So I was just thinking, when you're saying that, so, here Miss Loomer has her ideas and her workings and how she does things. My way, highway, my way, highway. Both people were banned for whatever reasons they were banned. But one who has been, both have been controversial. Both have their unique way of speaking. Both were creative. But what was expected from one and expected of the other
Wow.
the total opposite happened.
Isn't that ironic?
You know, the total
Exactly.
opposite happened.
Exactly.
Where one, forgive me, slid in the back door. And I know in the climate of the Catholic Church and the stuff that they've been going through. Sorry.
Miss
So
Dorothea.
again, no tomatoes, no zucchini, because the zucchini hurt. Don't throw nothing.
Don't
Don't throw nothing. I'm just
throw a
saying.
cyber zucchini at Miss
There you
Dorothea.
go. No, just don't do it. But you know, one came through the back door, so to speak, with an invitation. I'm asking you to step on my property. I'm giving you permission to come here, to voice your opinion, to say what it is that you need to say. And the other was like, oh, forget it. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm sitting here. Here's this, here's that. I want to make note that she really filmed the back of the wall behind the woman at the counter, specifically taking pictures and making note of, there was one sign that says, we take care of, or we look at, or we protect, or we should pay attention to. And there were a list of, different cultures, I'll say, for whom this note said. And she honed in on that and pointed out, nowhere am I on there, and where am my category or my culture is in this group. Look at Facebook. I mean, she really, really strategically in her mind designed that whole event.
She dug her heels on that one.
Yes, she dug her heels into that and talked about the cultures that were not represented on the sign. But
that's it.
So completely wrong in that, because who are the founders of Facebook? She's talking about they're not represented based on the sign, but who are the founders of Facebook?
Yeah.
Who are the board members at Facebook right now?
Yep. That part.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Woo, y'all is on fire today. Okay, so we're going to do this final topic, and then, because we're going to let the people go. We're not going to hold them all day, because we can talk all day. We're going to have to do this again. You guys let us know when you're ready to see this happen again, when you're ready for that next leading voice chat. Just, go and put some stuff in the comments. Leave a review. Say, hey, y'all need this at least once a month or something. Let us know. And if you are a female podcaster, we would love to have you on. Come on, join the conversation, because it's time for us to have our voices heard. Now, that takes us right into our last topic for today, which is Georgia. Georgia. What is we doing? Georgia, what is we doing? So I'm not even going to introduce this topic. I'm going to let Tandee introduce it.
Take it away, Tandee.
This past week, the new abortion laws and miscarriage laws went into place, where abortion is illegal after 6 weeks. They did add the exception for rapes, but I've seen so many discussions on the topic and so many comments, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't understand everyone's thinking behind it. And quite frankly, some of it is, if you ask me, it's very insensitive. When you think about a woman and all she goes through and the reason she may consider an abortion, or when she goes through rape and molestation and abuse, but you're telling her that she may be in jeopardy if she has an abortion. You're telling her she may go to jail. If she has a miscarriage and someone says it was her fault or she purposely did it, you're saying that she can be arrested for it. And that's like, wait. What about how the woman feels? And I think one of the biggest pieces that stood out to me was a lot of the comments were talking about women shouldn't be having all this sex and they should be protected and they should know their bodies and stuff. And well, they know when they're pregnant within the first couple of weeks. Well, wait, I didn't find out I was pregnant until after 6 weeks and I had a miscarriage. Or what about the women that y'all are calling promiscuous that dealt with rape and molestation as children? And so to them, sex is like the only way to communicate with men. Sex is all they know. It's not that they're promiscuous. They don't know anything else. They don't know how to handle it. So I'm asking y'all, what do y'all think about all of this?
Okay, so it's deep.
This is
That's
deep.
absolutely deep. Whether you're pro-choice or, you're against abortion. I'm sorry, my mind is just jumbled because I cannot believe in this day and age that we have the government, and I'm saying it, allowing and making choices and decisions for us. Well, people can argue with me and say, well, they have a choice now to either make sure that if you're going to have abortion, you do it by the 6th week. I was 5 months pregnant before I found out. Wow. 5 months. So there are women out there who go to, and this may be the extreme, who go full term and like, oh, I got a pain, and oh, it's a baby. Things happen. There are different situations. So now you've got this law that basically is just going to house everybody, including those, unusual circumstances, like people finding out that they're pregnant at 5 months, or you got rape. Everybody's going to be corralled in this 6-week pool. And then if you have a miscarriage, I can't imagine if some doctor, some nurse, some, clinician says, you know what, she could have prevented that miscarriage if she just ate more carrot juice. And I'm just saying that out there. If she went ahead and had a better diet, if she went ahead and did prenatal therapy and care early on, this baby would have survived. So you mean to tell me you can jail her because she didn't keep up with her appointments, she didn't do certain things according to what the government says, and so you're going to jail her for that?
And further put stress on her mentally, emotionally, physically, because now I'm not only dealing with the miscarriage of my child, now I got to go through court. Now I got to potentially be in jail.
Now I got a criminal record.
Now I got a record.
I might not be able to get a job.
My body
I can't get benefits to help with my other children.
My body has rejected this baby in some way, and so therefore I had a miscarriage. It didn't work, and so now I'm going to go to court to yet be rejected by the system and the community, and then have to stand before a judge who may possibly reject me and throw me in jail.
And can y'all please note that some of these people in the office I didn't vote for, so please help me vote for some more good people to help us down here. If you live in Georgia.
That's the thing that's getting me, is most of the people who are making these decisions, and I say most because I know, there is an increasing number of women getting involved in politics, but let's talk about right now. Most of the people in government that are making these decisions are who?
Men.
Exactly.
And let me ask you something. How many men out there have carried a baby?
No.
None.
Well, some men try to assimilate, they put those simulators.
That's not
what I'm saying? But that's not it. You will
that
never
ain't it at all.
You will never understand what it is to have a baby. You can sympathize, you can watch,
but you'll never understand.
You'll never understand. Now, I know Harry just watched his baby over there in England. He just watched the birth of his child. And so that's about as close as you'll get, being there watching it happen. But you'll never understand the emotion, all of the things that go on. I just cannot believe that they're housing.
I know. It's crazy.
I just can't. I just, like, when I first heard it, I was like, wait. Like, I heard them going through the process and voting and all this. I said, this can't be true. We can't be still having this discussion in our government about what a woman is to do with her body. We can't be taking back control of women. Like, all these years, women fought for their equal rights, and now you're taking the rights back. You're now telling us again what we can and what we cannot do. It's bad enough that when you look at society, when you look at history, and you see that women have always been the lowest of the totem pole, when you see, especially for women who of color, now you're really telling us that what we can and cannot do. That's, like, harsh, and it's damaging. And I can't remember what state it is right now. It was one state where they were voting on if a woman was to have an abortion without the man's permission, she could go to jail, even if it was a rape.
Oh, stop
I can't
now.
remember what state it was right now. You literally had
Tandee, really? For real?
I'm gonna go look it up after
Girl.
this, y'all. the woman had to have the man's permission to have an abortion.
I remember that.
Yes. I was like,
getting
why are we still
molested.
talking about this in 2019? Why are you still trying to control women? You're trying to take control back. We fought for our rights. And now you're taking them back. I mean, women only had the right to vote since 1920. Now y'all trying to take everything away from us?
And imagine, and I know, Dorothea, you can probably speak to this. Imagine the women who are in domestic violence types of situations, or where their husbands might be making them have sex when they don't even feel like having it. Suppose they get pregnant that way. It's very hard for a married woman to prove that her husband raped her, but it happens all the time. And I don't want to say all the time, but it happens more often than we would like to think that it does. You know, and it could be so easy that this person gets pregnant, didn't want to get pregnant, didn't want to have sex, was forced into it. And
it does happen often. It does happen often where she doesn't want to have sex. And this may be harsh. For me, when I write plans for women to get out, I tell them all the time, I need you to do whatever you need to do to stay alive. I do. There are times where sex is used as punishment, withdrawal from sex, or having sex on a regular basis according to how the abuser wants it, when he wants it, where he wants it. With that being said, rape happens often. And when a pregnancy happens, so you're having to have a child in an abusive situation, and you've got to bring forth a child. But if you've made the decision that I can't do this, and you want to walk to an abortion clinic, and you're sneaking and doing this, so if you're in Georgia and you're at the 5th week, you'll be all right. But if you just so happen to find out you're pregnant in the 7th week and want to have an abortion, you can go to jail.
So doesn't this law, doesn't this have the potential to have people doing it on the down low in conditions that are not favorable for?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Immediately what I thought of.
Go back to the days of hangers.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, it may
Taking
be
medicines
for colored girls.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Those sneaky things, back alley, abortion clinics. Oh yeah, they'll be setting up. People be going to black market to
another comment that I saw on one of the posts was talking about, so you're going to force women to have children they're not ready for in abusive situations in the foster system, and it's already overcrowded. And you're going to put them in the system where no one can care for them. Though there may be some people that want to adopt them, there's still a process, and the system is already overcrowded. So you're actually kind of doing more damage to the children. And I was like, see, it's so much to it. I was like, I don't think the men thought about this when they decided, oh, we're going to stop women from having abortions.
And then we all know, even when it comes, some people might say, oh, that means you're going to have to be more responsible. You're going to have to, make some decisions. But how many of you know, I have not seen a contraceptive yet that was 100%.
Exactly.
I haven't seen one yet.
100%. Condoms are not 100%. They will tell you they're 99.9%. Trust me. How many people have you heard or have conversations with who have had? I have a friend. She says, "Yeah, this is my condom son." She used the condom and she got pregnant.
Good Lord.
Like, how do you address him that way? But she said, "He is. I used the condom and got pregnant." Absolutely.
Woo.
Oh my goodness, y'all. This has been a phenomenal episode. Epic. Okay, epic. And this is just the first one. Imagine when we do this again, and then again, and then again. But we thank you guys so much for joining us for this particular topic. Any of these topics, if they resonated with you, by all means, please make sure that you leave a review, leave a comment, let us know, share it out. Why? Because guess what? This is your topic. This is your conversation. This is the things that are going on right where you are. And we want to make sure that you know that the women's voice will not be silenced. We are going to make sure of that. With that being said, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Guys, and until next time, don't forget to press it out. See ya.